Well, when I first came here, the Gold Coast had only just been established as the Gold Coast.
The Gold Coast was in its infancy then, really.
Well, it was compared to what it is now, and it was a nice little country town.
We're a young city. Where we come from is just as important as where we go. When you look at the old picture of Evandale, there was swamp comes sand pit, and would you even pitch your tent here is really the question.
There was a lot of opposition to council moving to this Evandale site. In those days the Gold Coast was principally a holiday resort. It didn't have the same level of sophistication that some would say existed today. More gracious rather than audacious.
The 79-82 council was under a lot of stress. There were many aldermen who disapproved of the art that was being collected for an art gallery. Their motto, "Drains before drama," was carried often into the city streets.
It's a natural trait amongst the community to prefer to build football stadiums than to build art galleries. Culture gives a city a soul and gives it warmth, and a city without a soul was not a city at all.
There's a lot of people like me that are in awe of the creative people. That's what matters. I don't think you need to be gifted in the art part, but you need ability to connect, and people want to connect.
There's the perception of the Gold Coast as a sort of paradisiacal beachfront location, embracing nature, casual lifestyle, bit of a party atmosphere, and to a large degree that's pretty true. The cultural heart of the Gold Coast has tendrils that extend right from the north right to the south, and we're doing really, really interesting, unique and original things that are particular to the paradoxical nature of this particular region.
This building was born in controversy just as the Art Centre was born after it.
There was an enormous opposition. People either loved it or hated it. The community was divided at first, but I think when they saw how people from outside embraced it and how excited they were by the concept, they became excited too. The foyer was the centre for every activity that the council and the community was involved in. From the welcoming of overseas dignitaries to biscuit stalls to raise funds took place here. Because there was no art gallery, the controversial winners of the prize were hung here. Every wall of this building, every office was hung with art.
Not long after the building opened, the Miss Universe pageant was held in the foyer here, and it was a great success.
It was truly beautiful in those days, and as you walk through you just saw these beautiful hanging gardens from the second level to the first, and then draping to the foyer, to the ground level in the foyer, with these wonderful plants, and it was just a sense of what have I arrived at?
It was something quite innovative at the time to be able to achieve such a span with such small, slender members.
So we just used to tell them they're building a space launching station, ready to take rockets out into outer space, and they said, "Oh, that's nice, that'll be interesting," and off they'd go.
The mayor of Papeete in Tahiti visited on one occasion, and he was so taken that he asked for a copy of the plans so he could replicate this building in his city. Later I met him and I asked, did he do so? And he said, yes, I did. And I said, did the roof leak? And he said, yes. How did you know that? Because we had all had troubles here with leaking in the roof until we spent a deal of money to remedy the position.
We must admit, when we did put it up, it fit at first go. Every bolt lined up when we lifted it up, and which is probably pretty incredible because it's fairly big. When on first go, there wasn't one bolt out. That's me right up top here with no harness or anything, because we didn't have them those days.
I do think it's rather sad that this building's been allowed to deteriorate in the way that it has, because it was really beautiful in its heyday. The building had a character of its own, an aura. It was a fun building where there was a lot of laughter.
I feel sad in some ways about it going. I think it's a nice building, but they tell me it's progress.
No matter what part of the city that you go to, you can see the reinventing of the Gold Coast. Sometimes it means breaking some eggs to make some nice omelette.
If they are going to demolish it, it'd be nice to put some explosive under the middle of it and blow it up.
I'm very disappointed that it's going to be knocked down. Obviously, as the architect and designer, it's something that makes me a little sad.
Each of the shortlist competitors realised they had to use that part of the site to get the best possible outcome going forward.
A city must have a centre of culture, a well-developed one, up to date and looking to the future. I don't think we can really call ourselves a real city until that happens.
This opportunity now exists to create an architecture precinct that will rival the Guggenheim, the Mona. It's probably the biggest architect competition that this country has ever had.
It attracted 75 entries from all around the world, including some really big names.
We dare to dream. We've turned the sandpit into a sandcastle, so to speak.
It'll be compared with the Opera House in Sydney, the way it projects into the harbour. It should be built. I don't think there should be any hesitation in it being built.
It's next level of city development that people probably never expected the Gold Coast would get to.
I think something like the new cultural centre is going to be a really significant development in the regional gallery system, which is a really, really important component to national cultural identity.
People still wore shorts and long socks in those days, the men, and safari suits were de rigueur for the CEO.
To the end of the building, when it's just about finished, they started organising a time capsule. Well, they didn't want to let us do it because they didn't trust us in case we put something in there.
Time will reveal.
Time will tell, all right?